Hey guys, welcome back to JD Mods. Today we're doing another video on the MR2. I'll show you guys what I've done since the last video, but mainly in today's video we're going to be, I think, prepping the engine bay for the Gen 4 install, and then depending on how long that takes, potentially starting the Gen 4 rebuild, but I think that might be a separate video. But without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. Here's the current state of the MR2. Pretty much the entire body and interior are fully assembled. I think in the last video, the fenders and hood and front bumper weren't on, but as you can see, they're on now, looking really good. Of course, I freshly painted the bumper. The hood is old paint, and so is the fenders and this door over here and the mirrors. But if you guys have been following the series, you know this car just got a lot of bodywork done to it, and I've also painted the engine bay the same kind of super white Toyota color. I already have a few of the accessories in there already, you know, whatever you see there. And I also just finished reassembling the entire interior after paint. This car is a really clean interior as far as dashboard and seats go. It's a nice black leather interior with just some upgraded seat or reupholstered seats, and then matching shift boot and weighted shift knob, aftermarket stereo, and otherwise stock. So let me go ahead and show you guys what we're going to be installing in today's video. I'm just going to show them as they come up. This is a nice little aftermarket intercooler from TCS, and this of course comes with the single piece hot side and single piece cold side pipes. I got it with a tile blow-off valve flange. The pipe's going after the motor, of course, but I think this is easier to put in before the motor, so we're going to install that with the laser cut shroud and fan. Comes with some hardware. Also, just in general, I'll show you guys what I have to install. Again, in no random order, this is the fan for the intercooler. I have a wire tuck friendly coolant hose. This deletes one of the hard lines in the engine bay, and mine was all ripped up anyway. I have a Gen 4 heat shield. This is from, the name is escaping me right now, so let me take a look. Here we are. Yes, this is from PTP Turbo. I'm very excited about that. That should really spice up the engine bay, and it is actually functional as well. I have all this stuff to do braided fuel lines, all the way from the tank to the filter, then the filter to the engine. And I got this heat wrap as well, just to keep it extra safe. Got some e-brake cables and some new from Toyota. These are the chassis braces that a lot of people call cancer bars because they always rust out. So I got some new ones of those, very exciting. I have a South Bend clutch kit with a few other clutch and clutch pedal components to really refresh that whole system. These are all some used parts, nothing exciting there. I have a TCS X brace, kind of nice. My Gen 4 is sitting under that blanket right there. And then my other parts are over here. I have a Mamba, however you say it, CT15 billet wastegate. That's my tile blow-off valve. This whole box here is Gen 4 rebuild parts from Prime MR2. Tons of good stuff in there. I also have a braided clutch line. Yeah, you have your hose from hell. Fuel line stuff. Braided clutch line like I mentioned. Tons of gaskets. I think that'll be a separate video just because of how many parts that is. This, if you're wondering, is rubberized undercoating. I'm going to make a video of me doing that to the wheel wells. That's not this video. Then this is all the used items. This is the hose I'm going to be rebuilding with that 6AN. This is the one that goes from your tank to your fuel filter that always rusts away. It's kind of sketchy. I'm going to be doing an evap delete, so that deletes most of these hoses. That nice MR2 Heaven hose I showed you replaces this one. And I'll probably replace as many mounts as I can, then paint the rest with rust paint because they're getting kind of rusty. First step for the intercooler, I think, is to install this little shroud over top of that black rubber piece in there. The intercooler is now installed on top of the shroud. It only uses 2 to 3 bolts, I guess, for the intercooler. The third bolt is just for the shroud down there, but it is plenty strong. And of course, that's without the pipes attached, which will add a little bit of rigidity as well. And now we just have these 3 mounting tabs for the fan that was included with the kit. So you just go ahead, I think, and attach the fan with these nuts and bolts provided. So let me go ahead and do that and show you guys how it looks. That's what the intercooler looks like fully installed. I actually took it off to install the fan and shroud, that little square piece, but it fits really nicely. I left the end caps on there so we don't get any junk in there before installing the piping. And then the only other thing I tossed on was the hood latch, ran the cable all neat along the wiring harness. Looks like I can add one more zip tie there. And then just this little grate that goes on that side vent. Then after that, I actually did some painting. Let me show you what I painted over here. A bunch of little accessories. I painted this evap component. It's like a fuel vapor separator. Painted that this dark color. It's not a rust paint. Also, this isn't even visible. It just makes me feel better. And then some of the pieces that had a little bit of rust on it, I painted it with some Rust-Oleum black paint, such as the rear engine mount. This is a hard line for the brake booster vacuum. We have a new fuel filter to go in our freshly painted fuel filter bracket. Nice and clean, way better than the rust before. And then once we mount up the fuel filter, I'm actually going to be able to make the fuel line that goes from the tank to the fuel filter, and then eventually the one from the fuel filter to the rail. And this here is the key component. I got this from Drift Motion. It's for a Mark III Supra. I'm about to see if it fits, but basically it's an M14, I think by 1.5 in here. That's the stock fuel line size. It's like a crush fitting. And then that, of course, adapts it to 6AN, which I can then use a 6AN going into a 6AN adapter going into the fuel filter. I believe that's a 6AN by M12 1.25. Got some copper crush washers for the fittings. And for line, I went with a nylon coated line because it's a lot nicer. It doesn't scratch up your paint if it does touch the paint. And because that's going to be in the high heat area, I got this sweet high heat wrap to go around the fuel line. And of course, it also goes behind the heat shield. Here are the beautiful heat shields. I painted them this titanium silver color. In the sun, it's a lot more silver. In the dark, like it is now, it looks very blue, but it's a pretty nice color. I'm not going to redo it just because it's a little more blue than I thought. It's just the only one they had. It's a VHD high temp paint, of course. It looks quite nice. So let's go ahead and install a bunch of those painted parts. Just got lots of work done here inside my engine bay. As you can see, I got my fuel line on. So like I said, there's the stock hard line. That's the feed line coming off of the tank. That's the stock Toyota fitting. There's the Drift Motion adapter for the Mark III Supra. Then I have a 6AN straight. I have my braided line. I've got it bolted down with a clamp, loosely of course, so it doesn't kink it. Then I have a 90 going into the M12 adapter, into my stock fuel filter on that newly painted bracket. Of course, all new hardware. There's some other things I just installed. And then here's that painted evap thing and my painted brake line or brake hose, like for the vacuum. And then because I'm doing an evap delete, this would usually go along a hard line all the way up here to your charcoal canister, sorry. So now what I've done is just put some 1/4-inch fuel line on it and ran it down under the car for now. And I'm going to figure out where exactly to put it. I just want to make sure to get it away from the engine bay and turbo setup just in case there's any vapors that come out of there. And finally, there it is with the heat shield installed. It looks really blue on camera. It's not that blue in real life. It's pretty cool actually contrasting with the white. It almost looks like the MR2 color SMG, the factory MR2 color. But anyway, that's probably where I'm going to end today's video, so it's not too long. So thanks for watching this pretty quick update on the MR2. As you can see, the engine bay is a lot further ahead. And the next video we're going to be working on the Gen 4. There it is, just behind me here. So we're going to go ahead and rebuild that in the next video. And then before we know it, we'll be dropping it in and doing our first start. So thanks for watching. If you guys are liking the MR2 content, please comment down below. And be sure to subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.